Hello. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to Make It Monday, live with Pamela, your Stampin' Up demonstrator from the Texas Hill Country in Fredericksburg, Texas. Hope everyone's doing well today. If you're hopping on, please say hello. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you can hear me good. Let me know where you're viewing from. How was your Easter weekend? I hope everyone was safe. I know we had some terrible storms through Texas, and I don't know where else. I didn't pay close attention yesterday, but I know there were some tornadoes around. All right, let me do a little bit of cleaning up here on my desktop, making sure that I have some things closed that don't need to be opened. And again, let me know if you can hear me. Good morning, Debbie. Thank you so much. Anyone else can give me a thumbs up. All right. I think we're good. I always have, all these tabs open, kind of like my brain. I gotta shut them down so I can focus. My computer can focus. So I'm excited about this week. I'm using some retiring products. They are on the last chance list. This is low inventory, by the way. So if you want to recreate my projects for the week, I recommend you check out the link in the description. It'll take you to my Scrap and Create kit landing page with all the details about my Scrap and Create kit for the week. And there is a link directly to the Link Together bundle. You can get the stamp set, the awesome dies that we're using today, along with these stencils or masks, they call them for Stampin' Up. So we can do some stenciling this week and die cutting and stamping. Lots of wonderful things we can do with this. Just going to find my Scrap and Create kit I put together. I've already cut into mine, but this is the Scrap and Create kit for the week. And we are using some retiring designer series paper called Countryside in different shades of blues and white. So that's the designer series paper right there. So pretty. This would be great for documenting Easter or any type of kind of woodland creatures, woodland, because there are some foxes on this one. And then there's birds, the rabbits, and then these are florals. That's kind of a woodland type designer series paper. When this originally came out, it was before I was a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and it had a bundle that went with it, but it's no longer available. Hello, Charisse. And then these are the pretty, so even if there's some patterns you don't care for here, you can flip these over and just use these. These would be great for scrapbooking and card making as well. And I'll show you how they work so well together for all of those types of projects this week. So you'll get a 6 by 12 sheet of each one of the patterns in your Scrap and Create kit. I'm also going to include, if you can tell, this is a already wood grain embossed cardstock. You can get this like 2 sheets of 12 by 12s. You're going to get a 6 by 12 inch piece included. So we'll incorporate that in some different ways. And then you will also receive all the cardstock that you need, plus more, to create your projects for the week, which include the 2-page 12 by 12 scrapbook page I'm creating today, along with a single 12 by 12 scrapbook page on Wednesday and 2 fun fold cards on Friday. I did have someone recently ask me if I only make card kits, and I said, no, not exactly. I was like, my Scrap and Create kit comes with the paper and it's not pre-cut, so you can use this paper however you choose. So it's kind of like a sampler packet. So I told her you could create the fun fold cards that I do on Fridays and then use the rest of the product to create more cards. Do whatever you want with it. It's also available for purchase pre-cut, but if you want just this, what I'm showing you right now, you can get it this week for a $50 order through my Stampin' Up website, and I'll send this all to you for free. Shipping's included, but you can also just buy the kit outright for $26 as is, or $32 pre-cut for the projects for the week. So then these are the cardstocks you'll be getting, some crumb cake. This is a retired, already gone, you can't get it anymore, boho blue cardstock. Then there's the Night of Navy cardstock, some basic white cardstock, 8.5 by 11 sheets, and 3 sheets of white willow cardstock for your scrapbook pages, or again, you can use them for your cards, and then 1 sheet of two-toned crumb cake cardstock. But I'll be using these for our scrapbook pages this week. So, and then you'll get a sampling of the embellishments that I'm using for the week as well. That's inside the kit. Alrighty. I'm going to sneak this in here. Maybe I'll try to get it put back together. And then we got to get busy. I do not have photos printed yet on this. It was kind of a last minute. I went back and forth on what I was going to do with this collection of products. And I finally decided on a little bird told me, because we're going to be using some of the bird pattern. Hello, Rosalind. Good deal. Thanks for saying hello. And I'm probably going to do some photos as it recommended in here for, um, let me see where the photo ideas are. Photo suggestions. Well, this is like outdoor walks, springtime moments, porch chat, porch chats, and coffee mornings, children or grandchildren observing nature. So I'll go through my photos and see what will work with these, but it'll be more outdoor reflective type photos. Talks about the theme. This layout celebrates small joys, peaceful moments, and the gentle beauty of everyday life. It could document a nature walk, quiet family time, or meaningful moments with someone you love, something reflective, sweet, and serene. And then we're going to walk through this about photo options. I figured out my border already down here with this awesome die that's in here. I did this several years ago with a Close to My Heart collection. I think they had a diamond shape like this. So I cut a bunch of the DSP out of this diamond shape, and we'll create a border with that. And then we'll do a couple of um, focal points with the lattice piece right here and the flowers and leaves. I've got to cut some of those. I wasn't sure what colors I wanted yet, but am bringing in a little bit of the crumb cake. And then this right here is the card I shared this morning on my socials. That's kind of inspired me for this week of projects. Good morning, Lisa and Christine. Thank y'all for saying hello. And I brought in the crumb cake. I really like it with these blues. And Gina, I think is her name. Let me see. I might be wrong. Gail. Her name is Gail. Inspired this design right here, but then I'm using different papers. And so there was no stamping on this card, but this was for my Mail It Monday Insta Hop that I'm doing along with fellow 2025 artisan design team members. So we do a hop each Monday featuring just a card that we can mail to someone. So the goal is to make a card and mail a card. So this is my card for the week. I did a matching envelope and using all the same products, um, other than maybe this little butterfly was from the sketched butterfly bundle I have. And then these, let me see if I have the name of these, are from the Greetings for All Mix and Match Ephemera Pack. So it has all these pre die cut images or sentiments in them. All right, so that's going to be what kind of has inspired my project today. All right, so let's get busy. We're going to do some sponging or some stenciling, and we're going to build a background or a border with all our triangles and diamond shapes. And then I got to figure out my photo placements and do my title, which I already know is A Little Bird Told Me. I did a page using something similar like that for a page I made about Bevan years ago, and it turned out so cute. I should have looked for it. It's probably on my socials somewhere. But again, let's just look real quick at this bundle linked together. Here are all your sentiments. You can create scrapbook titles out of these because they're fairly large enough. I'm probably not going to use it today necessarily. And we might find just a note would be even cute with a little bird told me, like the tweet and stuff. And, like using words like tweet, birdie, I don't know. There's all kinds of things you can do with it. And then, of course, these dies are really neat and they're different from the stamp set, which is always cool. So you can buy any of these individually as well. I think everything's still available, but on the bundle itself is on low inventory. So something in that bundle is, I didn't look specifically as low inventory, but these are the stencils that come in the bundle. So these are like build upon stencils. So they're numbered 1 through 5, and you can sponge them all in different colors. So we'll probably do that on Friday. Today, I'm just going to use this one right here as a background. So I'm going to set these other aside. I think I'll stick them in my scrap and create kit. So this is what I have left in my scrap and create kit right now, minus the cardstock. I haven't cut into it quite yet, but I've got lots of bits and pieces that I can use still throughout the week. All right, so let's get into it. And I know I'm going to have a border down here at the bottom, but first I want to do a little bit of stenciling. And I think I want it to be um, a light shade. There is some balmy blue in some of the designer series paper. You'll see it right there. And then, so I might use that just to bring a little bit of pop, and it'll be light and subtle. I am going to use one of my old Close to My Heart um, brushes just because I have a whole set that has all the different ink colors on them. Right now, I'm just kind of cleaning it off. This one still had a little bit of blue in it. So we'll trying to figure out, like, I guess maybe it's got some, I've used this one already, I know, so it's not, I mean, it's not like super clean. I'm not sure what I got on it. But it's not, I don't think it's ink. So let me, I just have a post-it notepad here and I'm going to make sure I don't have a bunch of that other color in here first. So I'm just going to make sure I only have the balmy blue. So I think that's good. Okay. I could also, let me see if I have one. I just have some scrap paper here that I could work with a little bit too. So my border is going to be down here, and the way I've created the border, I'll have a strip of one of the cardstocks, just probably like a 1/4 inch going across here. It's probably going to come out about up to about the 4 inch mark, because that's about how big these are. So I think I just want to do, I think I'm going to do just a little bit coming out over here, maybe a little bit up here, and then kind of going like this, maybe. Not like all the way across, just um, make it fairly subtle so you can see a little bit, because the title will go somewhere right around over here. So I want these, I haven't taped these down yet. I'm going to make sure my stencil is kind of off the page just a little bit. I can bring it down, or that, yeah, just where you can see off the. So I'm going to do it real light and just kind of random. Okay, I'm going to make sure I've got it maybe a little bit darker. I'm not going to try to fill in every single little bit, but see, just a little bit, a hint of pattern here and there. I think I'll do the same thing right down in this area. I'm tapping off so I don't get a real dark blob of something. All right, so there's that. I'm gonna do it over here as well. So let's just move this out of the way for a moment. I'm going to continue the pattern like right here. This is a great day to be doing this. We have a beautiful day out here in the Texas Hill Country. I can hear the birds chirping. And yeah, I'm going to have to get outside this afternoon. So I hope everyone had a nice Easter. We had a beautiful Sunday service along with a wonderful lunch with Jeff and his parents over here at our house. I made some brisket, beans, and a yummy broccoli and cauliflower salad. Then we had some fresh strawberries and whipped cream. And then I made kind of just spur of the moment, I had some rice cakes and peanut butter and um, chocolate, and made a yummy dessert with strawberries and whipped cream on top. It was so good. And then because we had storms come through Saturday night, it lightning struck his work office tower, like the internet tower, and he had to go to work in the middle of the afternoon. Jeff did after we had lunch, and he was out there for the rest of the day. So that kind of stunk. But I came and sat, and that's when I created my Make It Monday card. So I found things to do, so not a huge big deal. All right, so let's build up our border. I'll tell you a little bit about this. So these are pieces I think I'm going to use like up here somewhere. But we'll set that stuff to aside for a moment. I got to cut some more flowers and then figure out my vines, what color I want those in. I do have some of that, like a 6x6 piece of the wood grain paper. Not sure I'm going to use it on today's project, but okay. So I used 3 of the patterns. I took the 6x12 pieces and cut them into 6x6 pieces. So that would kind of help me only use so much on this page, and then I'd have quite a bit left over for the other projects for the week. And I think I used all of these patterns, so 2 6x6 pieces. I could have kept it 12x12, but I wasn't sure if I would need all of them. So this is kind of what my plan is. I think I'm going to start over here in the center and go out this way. Haven't fully decided yet. I'm just alternating these patterns. And then I'm going to have to do like half of one right here and half of one over here. So already I think that's going to be awesome. And then these pieces right here are the back of these patterns. So I cut more of those and I'm going to alternate those as well in here. And I do need to trim off a little bit on each one of these, possibly. So I was thinking I would do alternate these. I think something like this. So this one's probably going to go over here. I'll cut that apart and we'll figure that out in a minute. And then here, so I'm just trying to kind of show you what this pattern is, the bunny. I'm not gonna, first I was gonna use the bunny pattern. And then I just grabbed these patterns when I figured out, oh yeah, I can make this cool border. All right, so we can do several different options here. These are going to alternate a little bit differently. I'm going to go like every other, I guess these are going to be on the bottom. These will be on the top. And like this, I think is how I'm going to do it. Okay, so that's kind of where we're going. So I need to probably start right here, kind of move these aside a little bit. And I'm just going to use my tape burner adhesive. And then once we get this all together, we can put a strip right up here to kind of top off our border. So I need to come right. What I need to do is I'm going to use my glue dots first to put down a glue dot. This is a temporary glue dot to help my paper stay in place. That one already kind of must have one. And then we'll do it right here. And up here in this corner. You can put it directly on the paper or just right on your mat or table. All right. So I think I'm good. I needed to come right down to pretty much to the, so yeah, I think I'm going to, I'm just going to barely tack it down. So I know I can make it work. I got to figure out how close. So see right here on all of these, probably I need to trim right there at the point. We'll just go through and do that as we get them down, I guess. So always need to be looking at the cool dies that we have in different ways. Maybe you can make borders. So what's Debbie say? We saw you at church. Oh no, Robert didn't feel well. Bummer. All right, and then just put it right there at the bottom. I think that's the line of it's not cardstock. I'm putting it right at the end of the cardstock. And we'll just work our way out this way. Same thing, I probably just need to do that to all of these real quick. Let me, this one on the top, it doesn't matter too much. I'm going to go ahead and do these because I can cover them up with that um, 1/4 inch by 12-inch piece I'm talking about. I didn't try real hard when I was cutting them out to line them up right there. So let's just get those trimmed like they should be. That looks good. I think this one might be off just a tiny bit. And if you have little pieces that get stuck in here, you need to get them out. I'm going to have a piece that's not coming out. There we go. You see, I just flung it over the. All right, so this one might not be quite straight. I just need to, and it's going to get another piece in there too. There we go. Is there another one that I don't think? We'll do these over here in just a minute. So let me figure out what piece is next. This one, I think I put tape on already. Okay, so line the points up. Try to get about the same width apart right here. This one's next. When you have a diamond shape like this is a really fun pattern to create because you can do triangles and diamonds. Now, when I cut these out, I did try to make sure that this line right here was right down the center on each one, just to make it kind of uniform. And again, I'm just trying to make sure I have about the same width in between each one of these. And then this one's going to go right here. Line the point up. You can kind of line these up here. So it's not very difficult once you figure out your pattern. So want to make sure your birds are also going the right direction. And that's going to go there. And then we'll trim off some of this in a few minutes. Okay. I want to pull that up a little bit. Kind of looking to see, am I should be pretty straight. I know it doesn't kind of look like it on the screen, but it's probably just how my camera is. Okay, now this piece is just barely we're gonna cut quite a bit of that off. So let's just put a little glue right there and pop it in there. All right, so now we can just pop this up from our, I think they're on the, that one's got a glue dot there. The glue dot's still there, but see what we have left over here? So now we can just trim this off. Sometimes some bigger scissors are easier to do this with, but I'm just using my paper snips to trim that excess off. Save that for another project for the week. It might have a little bit of tape on there, so I'm going to just stick it in my stash. All right, so there's that one. And then we will come here. How's this one? Oops, I think I grabbed the wrong one on this. See the little, let me see if I have another piece that I may not have fixed it. I thought I did. Yeah, there's one. I should have done this at the same time. I'm gonna just put some glue right there. So I'll have to pop it back up to, it's not quite on the center there. That's fine. This one I can do right here, I think. Oops, I did it the wrong side. We're gonna have to have tape on both sides anyway, so goes there. And now these pieces we will want to save because they're gonna go, sorry, I'm stuck. They're gonna go right here. So when we trim them off, save those for the next other side. There's a little bit hanging off right there. I'm gonna trim that too. This would be great for documenting quilts, quilt making. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Wanda, Susan. Yeah, and this designer series paper is on the retired list. I'm gonna take a little sip of the last sip of my coffee, I think. All right, and then this one, I'm gonna start with this one, then I'll add these pieces. So that's kind of what's fun with these kind of dies as well. Okay, I think that's good. And that one's gonna be like that, I think. I'm gonna line it up with right down here. Looks like we'll trim off just a little bit right there. So these do have little stitch marks on them. So there's a little bit of a design on the outside. So that design will go right in here next to that. And I'm kind of off. I don't have these. There we go. Down straight there. That should work. And that'll help you kind of line up that piece, which I don't have it lined up very well. Maybe down a little bit more. And I'll have a little bit to cut off there, but I'll wait till we get done over here to do that. So let's do these big ones. No, I'm gonna do these first. I think that's how I end up figuring out the width. of where to put these next. So there we go. Again, I'm just trying to get as close. Some are, you can see some are might be a little bit wider, but that's fine. And then this, I think I want this one next. Let's pick that up and just work it a little bit more so I can get those lined up there. Then we need a dark one, or this one right here with the birds. And then again, alternating. This I do need to cut off a little bit. Look at the others too. Need to get right in at the point. So it's kind of like a perfect triangle. That one just barely. It's just a sliver that needs to come off this one. And I need to straighten this one up a little bit, it looks like. There. All right, so all that should be good. And what's our next one? This one. So this is great because there's stitch marks on it already, so it adds to that kind of quilt effect. And what's down here, this one. And one more full one here. There's really no way, rhyme or reason with this one necessarily. It's a pretty random pattern. This one just has the birds on it, so that's why. It's important to see which way your birds are going. And that ended up being just about the same. Cutting off over here. Oops, I don't need that one. You could do a border going this way if you wanted. And then you'd want, if you have a, and of course you can do these with any type of papers you have. You just got to get your hands on that linked together die set. All right, I think that's pretty good. And then we'll pop this up so that we can trim off that excess. We'll want to trim off some over here. Now, when you either place your order this week of $50 or more, or just buy the Scrap and Create kit outright for the week, you will, I don't know where I was going with that. I had an idea pop into my head and then I distracted myself real quick. Um, I'll give myself a minute and it'll pop back into my head probably. Let's see. All right. Here's, maybe I was going to say you'll get your PDF file that'll have all your supply list. So everything will be on the list you'll need to recreate the projects. I've already told you a few things you'll need, but like you'll have the ink pads that you'll need, which we will be using probably a variety of all these right here. along with a blending brush. All right, so that's all done. I think I got it all clean and straight. Looks good. And then you'll get cutting measurements. So if you want to recreate my projects, you'll have all the cutting measurements. I'll tell you um, mostly what to do as far as like, I'll just say in the description, die cutting the DSP because you can use whatever patterns you want. You don't have to use the exact same ones that I am using. All right, so this is where we're going to have to be a little, what's the word? Um, oh, tricky is coming in, but that's really not the word I want. I need to decide. I'll probably just use this crumb cake, contrasting color to go a little tiny strip here, but we're going to have to overlap in some place because I don't have the 12 by 12 paper. Let me bring these in to see what I'm going to do. That may be where I use some of this. We'll see. I have something behind my lattice. So somewhere in here, we're going to have, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut, I'm trying to decide, I don't think it matters. This is almost like the light side of yeah, the two-tone cardstock. You've got the dark and the light. I'm going to cut a 1/4 inch piece. I think I want, yep, just a 1/4 inch over here. I'm going to cut 2 of those. I don't know if I'll use any more of that because that may end up being part of that will be part of my fun fold cards. So I want to be careful with how much I use. I have all this to work with. So see how it's not the 12 inches, but we're going to put something right over here. We'll overlap just a tiny bit, probably. Figure out where our measurement is here. I think that'll work, 1/2 inch. Okay. So I've got to snip it somewhere, so I don't want to snip it quite yet. And maybe I'll have a photo. Maybe I'll have my primary photo right down here somewhere. So let's look at this is boho blue. Don't think I want to do boho blue. I'm going to do the Night of Navy as my frame, my mat. Over there so I don't lose it. The white is primarily going to be for die cutting and stamping. There's my second one I need over here. So I want a 4x4 photo. Let's look at let me read. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. They give photo suggestions, like on the left page, one 4x6 focal photo, landscape in the top third. So they're talking about up here, 2 to 3 smaller 2x3 photos along somewhere in the top third. So maybe like in the middle. 2 or 3 smaller 2x3 photos along the right. So you could do over here or under. So if you had a big photo here and then 3, I kind of like that idea. And we got to figure out where we're going to do our title. I'm thinking my title is going to be right up in here. So let's do a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 inch mat. And then we will still have a long piece because this is 8 1/2, so we're going to cut it in half. So this could be used possibly, we'll probably use all of this for our photo mats. We'll see. Because I've got to have some photos over here too. So let's do 6 1/4. So that's going to be somewhere up in here or over here a little bit. So I have room for our title. And then it talks about 2 by 3 photos along the right or under the focal photo. And this talks about landscape. And I'm looking to see, what does it say on the right side? It says grid of 4 3 by 3 photos. I'm trying to think about my, uh, maybe I won't do a mat on every single photo, and then I won't have to use all my blue. So if I do just one that's 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, so let me do that. So this is 4 1/4 by 4 3/4. So let's do 3. I'm gonna do it this way. Give myself a little bit more scrap right there. So this will probably be like for my journaling spot over here. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to overlap. Well, I've got to overlap somewhere a little bit. So, oh, excuse me, my tailbone has been hurting me. I'm going to bring in some, don't know that I'll do 2 by 3 photos like it recommended. I may keep them all 3 by 3, but here are some place cards for my photos since I don't have them picked out yet. And then I'll print my photos where they have the white border. So maybe, and maybe I'll just do the full 3 by 3 this time. So something kind of like that. And let me grab, I'm doing 3 more that it's suggested. I'm not sure if I'll do 1 or 2 of these somewhere. And then I'm not sure yet how I'm going to use these either. So we'll see about that. Let's see what we might. So this is kind of what it was talking about, doing something like this. Could I could bring it down further here, and then this is where my title could go. So I might do something kind of like that. And then I've got to figure out where and how I want to incorporate this. If I want sun just peeking out somewhere, this could be part of my title. I'll have the flowers, and we have a visitor. Hey, how are you? Where are you wanting to go? You wanting to get in your basket? I'm assuming this is Jasper. Yeah. He wants to climb all over everything, possibly. We'll see if he stays. And I have a lot going on my table over here. So either that way, it could go like that. I kind of like that better. And then my title can go right over here. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I may bring these down a little bit more or in a little. I bring them in just a tiny bit more, and then this can be maybe coming out from under these. I think I could probably handle that. And then these are going to give me my kind of triangle with the, what do you call it? Crumb cake. I want to call it craft because Okay, so I think that's my plan. So I'm going to cut right behind here. I'm not gonna, it's probably about 2 inches or so. I'm gonna put this one down. I think, like, I don't know why, but it really didn't end up straight here. I mean, pretty close, but I need to go at, I think, 4.5 inches right here. And now I can put this one down. I'm going to incorporate the stamping. I just realized like all the stamping are words. So I just want to try to make that look straight. It's coming in together. And then we're going to have a photo. Further down in here, I think close together, I'm going to tack it down about like that. If, depending on what paper we have at the end, I might make mats for these just to help them pop off the page a little bit, but you don't always have to have a mat for every photo. All right, so there's that. I'm going to put foam tape on that one. So again, that was 4.25 by 6.25. I'll grab a photo mat so you can tell that it's supposed to be I like to do one on each end, one in the middle, and then put two in the center just to kind of get them even. And then really we just have to create our vines and flowers and our title. We have some ribbon. I don't know if I'll use any of that ribbon on here or not. And I don't think I'm going to worry about putting anything in the background on this. Since it'll be white, I'm just going to grab I forget what it's called, silicone mat. Took me a second. Let me decide where I want to put this. I think right about there. Put this over top of it a little bit, and maybe I'm going to bring it. So I think I'll put it right about here. We'll have about the same space right over here. I think I will bring it over just a smidge. Okay, that's good there. I can go ahead and layer this down. And the kids had today off. I was just looking at Susan's comment about Happy Easter Monday. So Bevan is still at her dad's. She'll be coming home today, but then she goes over to work. All right, so we've got that going on. I'm going to get all the everything kind of layered down. Let me get a photo 4x6. These are just old photo place cards I had from close to my heart. I have a whole bag stacked full of them. Okay, so that's where our focal photo is going to go. Oh, I may like do the vines here, some flowers here, and then over here, and that'll be like 3 clusters. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this down. We'll see if I can incorporate all those, like one of these maybe. Maybe I can put this over here somewhere. I'm not sure. All right, so I'm going to put this right in here, I think. And then tack that onto this. Okay, this is actually, I'm going to put the photo place card here, but it'll actually be my journaling, I think. And then I need to do this. So it's going to go, I'm going to just cut it right in here. Actually, I'm going to do it over here. I think this will work. So I cut it at about 5 3/4 inches. I'm lining up right at the 4.5 inch spot. So this is just a fun little trick. If you don't have a 12 by 12 colored cardstock, this is an option. Now I had the crumb cake 12 by 12 in the kit. However, I am using the base for Wednesday's project. I cut out the center, a 10-inch piece out of the center. So that's where I got these pieces cut. This one I'm going to pop up and then not the photos. So those will be two areas that, two focal points, I guess. And more than likely, well, you know what? I might keep it as a photo. And then I might do my journaling right down here in strips. That'll break the border up just a tiny bit. So those are your two options. You could do journaling on this square or anywhere in here could do a little bit of strip journaling. So I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, so we will put it right in here somewhere. I wanted it to be about the same width away from here. That's about 1.5 inches. So we can put this about right there. And then this one's going to overlap a tiny bit. Leaving about the same width in between each one of these. These might have a little bit more because I don't have the mat. And you could bring them in like this if you wanted to. Let me kind of show you. I could bring them in a little bit closer, maybe even up to line up right here. So several different ways you could do these. I don't have them super straight since I don't have a lot of adhesive on them. So this one would kind of pull out a little further um, and you could cram all these together too. They don't have to always have space in between them as well. So whatever you want to do. Same thing with this. I could actually see putting another piece of cardstock and then squishing these all on here, which might be an option here in a minute. I'm already having kind of an idea. That might be how we can bring in this color too. We'll see. Okay, but I don't have to do that right now. Right now, I just need to focus on doing my focal points. So I have a few flowers already cut. So let's look at those. I think that's all I have cut in the white. So we need to do some white. I need to figure out my title. I think it's A Little Bird Told Me There's not one particular word I would want to be like big, so I might just do the mini alphabet. Let me think through this for a second. I've got my jumbled up alphabet a la mode over here. Let's kind of put these up here. A little bird. You could put a little bird that I don't think it's going to fit using these. And then you could do a little told me. Little bird. Maybe you could just do little bird. Let me see. This would be fun for, like I said, I scrapbook something like this. I don't remember the exact title I used. I think I have two sheets of these, so, but most of them are right here. I need to get a better way to do this, so thinking I might like this little L-E. I think I have another T, but maybe not. Yeah, there is one. All right, I think I like that little bird. This would be fun for baby pictures too, y'all. So there's lots of ways you could go. I don't have another I. Yeah, I do. Oh, I have all the letters I need for this. Oh, okay, let's do little bird. Okay, I think I am going to bring in that boho blue because I can do my title in the boho blue. So I'm just going to do little bird and then I can print out or um, maybe I'll just do the, what do you call it? Mini alphabets right here for a little bird, and then I could do told me over here, or I could do it right down here. I'd have to do TOL. I don't know if I would like that or not. So we might bring it over here or under here somewhere. All right, let's do this in, I think I'm going to do it in this color. So let me think through this on what, I think I'm going to cut it the same way at 4 1/4. I may not even do 4 1/4. I may do, so if I do 3 1/4, let me figure this out real quick. Because I'm thinking I kind of want to do what I talked about, like a 3 1/4. I think that'll work. I do these now on here. It's just to adds an extra element. So let's do that. I'm gonna line these up and do, oops, I don't put a lot of, I don't want to put a lot of adhesive because I've got to pull these up to put my actual photos. I'm gonna butt these right up together. So I have three 3 by 3 photos right here. I'm liking this idea now. And this is going to just make the page even cuter. All right, so then we need this piece to be, it's going to be 9 1/4 inches. So 3 1/4 by 9 1/4. And now we can put this right in here. And I'm not sure how far, yeah, probably right about in there. And then I've got these pieces. I'll have to see how I want to bring this color over here, but let's do our title real quick. So I need to move some things around. Bring this in. And I'm just going to do it up here. I think I can get the whole thing right up here. All right, am I spawning any ideas for y'all for this design with the papers, photo ideas? I may, since I'm using this title, a little bird told me, so you could do nature photos. You could do baby photos. It could be like a baby reveal. A little bird told me. You could use a secret, but maybe one that's not a secret anymore. The announcement of a grandbaby, especially a little boy, since we're using blues. Okay, there we go. Think I'll get all those cut out good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go through. I should have cut it off. I forget, I need to not run my whole sheet of cardstock through there. So it kind of adds a texture sometimes. Good. I'm gonna remind y'all, I have this little, y'all can't see it. I'll show you 1 second. I put a magnet on my you see how many of these letters I can get up here. I can stash them away later. So you have some dies you're reusing quite a bit. This magnet on here is like super strong. It just held all of those. I think I have a cat playing with one of my lights cords. How do I get out? Okay. So this is the boho blue cardstock. It's no longer available, but you will get some in your Scrap and Create kit. I'm going to put my title down and then we'll work with the vines that I need to, and flowers. I have some iridescent pearl, something, I can't remember what they're called. All right, let me show you this real quick. I'm going to probably cut more of the title, but see how I have a magnet right here? It's a really strong magnet. I got them off of Amazon. I think you get 6 or 10, maybe 6. Don't remember exactly. And I just put one of them on there with some tear-in tape. Super handy. All right, there's my title, little bird. So I think I'm going to, a little bird told me, don't, if I use this, so you may get a little bit more cardstock of one of these colors in here. I'm not sure. It'll all just depend on what we have left to work with. It's not big enough to go this way, so I've got to go down like this. A little bird, TOLD. I think I can get all of them just out of one run. And then maybe we can use some on Wednesday's page too. So I'll do this. I'll have all the letters I need, I think. Set that aside. I clean up a little bit of my mess over here. There we go. There's the A I need. I don't know which way is the best way to do that, but okay, so then I have all this cardstock still. I'll put that back in my scrap and create kit. Well, we may use some of it, I don't know, for the vines. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. A little bird told L, where'd the D go? There it is. Told me. Okay, I think that's going to work. And then this, I'm going to get these off of here. Almost time for a new plate. I have one. Gonna use it as long as I can. Use both sides, I think. And then I need to put those away in a little, just if you haven't seen me do this before, I have these left over from the dies because I put my dies, most of my dies go inside my um, stamp set that it coordinates with. I just like to keep them like that. And I just dropped those letters in here and I'm starting a collection of letters in all the colors. All right, so my title, let's get the title down and we'll come back and cut a few more things in a few minutes to wrap everything up. So let me get my title up here. I'm going to use I'm going to go ahead and put that down. I'm just going to glue this down straight to the page. I don't think I need an I. I'm just going to position it, I think, with just like that. Okay. I'm going to have the A on here somewhere. Let me lay it out and then we can glue it down to make sure I've got. I'm liking the way it looks. Guess we'll be able to see that okay. I may push it further there. I think it'll be fine. Might be a little distracting. I think I'm going to go right here and go across there. We'll cover up most of that lattice anyways. I can probably figure out a way. I might put, I don't think I have any other color cardstock. I'm trying to think if there's another way I could make it pop off there a little bit. I'm just lining up the bottom. Let me think about um I think I'm just gonna put it over top of it. Nothing particular is coming to mind. Little. Oops, yeah, I think that was the wrong side. I'll have to get my rub and remove eraser to get that off in a minute. Let me see if I can get that off. It's not going to come off as easy as I want it to, probably. There we go. See if I didn't damage it too much. A, and then two T's. I've got it written right over here. I should look over here. I'm going to do it like this. If it ends up looking different when my page is posted, it'll be because I thought of something else I could do. I might could put some paper back behind there, pattern or something that might help it pop off a little bit. Or you could read it a little bit better, because I'm not sure I like that. So we'll see. Right now, I'm not crazy about it. It's too much going on. So I may have to move my lattice somewhere else, but I'm going to leave it for the moment. A little bird. You see what I've got going on over here. Could put, I almost like the idea. Little bird told me of doing this in that color too. That's how I could bring in some of this color over here. So I may change that out. And then we just need some flowers. I'm wondering if I might do little with these right up here. That might be what's gonna work. If I do, let me get my letters back out and see if I have, and I may remove these. I don't think they're permanently down right now. I can probably pick them up pretty easily. Or I do, yeah, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna pop these up. I don't like them. Now these might be okay over top of it, but I like my lattice right there. So these I'm going to set aside for now. Let's see what we got going on here. There's an L. I may have to cut another T. Several ways I could do this. So I'm going to take this T and do I have an I? I had an I. There it is, way over here. Remember that. Okay, I'm going to like this better already, I can tell. And take that L. I don't know if I want it up there or down here. Let's see if what it'll look like over the lattice. The word little is starting to look weird to me. Okay, that's better. Then I think I'm going to do these in this color, but this font. So we'll cut those out in a few minutes when we do. Okay, that looks, I think, much better. I can put that down now. Just thicker, so it's pops off there much better. You can read it. All right, now we can just cut out a few flowers or a few vines is really what we need. Maybe a couple more flowers because I need some here and a couple over here. Not a lot, more so over there, I think. All righty. Does anybody else ever have problems when they're using a word like this and then it's like it doesn't even look like a word anymore? Like it just looks weird. But that's how little is spelled. Okay, a little bird, and then told me. Okay, we'll do that in a minute. All right, so I need just some, I've got a couple of flowers again. I can use a variety of these, possibly. Let me see what I've got. This might be plenty right in here. Maybe do one over here, one up there. We just need vines. Okay, I think I'm going to keep it simple like this. I might do a few more. Actually, I think I'll just do my journaling down here somewhere, like either over here, probably right in here, a few little words, because then it can go over that way. And I need to move this. We just need a few vines. Um, Probably in this boho blue. I think that'll work. So we'll do, let me find my dies. And I might do a few flowers so I can put them down here with my um what do you call it? Journaling. So I've got this piece. So you won't have cut, you'll just cut bird out when you do yours. I'll make a note of that in the instructions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a full thing of the letters. That's just big enough. And then we want a vine. I don't know if I'll just stick them right here. A few vines. Now there is a way where you can cut just the letters you need. You need like a 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch, I think, piece of cardstock, and you can glue them right or tape them right there. But I think that's mostly, there we go. Don't know that I could quite, well, I got them right on the edge there. Get those popped out. They'll go right in here, around those Old Navy, not Old Navy, Knight of Navy. I'm not wanting to pop out. Let's see here. I guess I got them cut pretty good. They're just being a little stubborn. Had some falling on the floor. And what do I need? Told me is all I need. Okay. I do want to cut a few more. We'll dig those out in a minute. Let's do a few more vines. And come through here. Maybe two more, or two more runs of them right here. So I have some for 3 clusters. And that should do it. And then we'll add a few gems. Let me get that one popped out. This may be more than enough. I'm not sure. All right. I didn't do any more flowers, so I might just do vines down there with the um, journaling. Okay, let's wrap this up. Let me see what I dropped in the floor. It looks like maybe I only dropped one letter in the floor. Oh, there's a Z. Don't think we'll need that for anything. Guess I need to do a page about sleeping. Use up all those Z's. Okay, let's do one over here, up in here. And you could add some of the Night of Navy to possibly. I'm kind of thinking I might just do it like right. My journaling can go like right here, I think. I don't know if I'll need this one. All right, so I need told you. A little bird told me, not you, me. Me, there we go. And I need a D. I always love how the one you need, I think it's right there. It's usually one of the last ones you grab. Okay, that'll work. Cutting these mini alphabets. I haven't done that color yet, so I'm going to grab another little envelope to throw those in. Now, cutting them out of that Stampin' Up cardstock really creates a lot of fiber. The cardstock's very fibrous. I'll just have it like coming out of here. And we'll put, you can take your thumb or your nail and kind of go into that little crease. You want to add a little of dimension to your, it doesn't make a big difference, but that is an option. Let me see where I want to put this. be coming out of here. That'll work. Let's put one down here and then one out like this. I'm just putting it on with my, so I'm just kind of trying to create a little triangle effect still using my, you can use liquid glue if you wanted to. I try to not use liquid glue. Okay, I've got to find my little bag of embellishments. So give me a minute while I look around for them. So I got a pile of stuff over here with my alphabets. There it is. It's like one came off already. I'm missing one, but we can put these in the centers of our flowers just to add a little pop. Okay, let me get these down. And then we can do some of the little ones maybe around in a few clusters if we need to. Just want to remember to save some for our other projects. So I don't want to use too many. All right, we're almost done. And then when I share my projects later today, I will have the photos on them. I'll figure out. I might probably just like some nature photos. I'll have to brainstorm a little bit if there's any little secret that I can come up with. That's not really a secret anymore, but I might have a tiny little idea. I'm just going to put this down. I might end up putting another flower. I don't know what just, oh, one of my dies just fell. Just going to let that overlap just a little bit there, and that's where my journaling's going to go. So probably we'll bring in at least one flower for that. And let's do this right up here, and we'll be about done. Let's see if I can use this long one. If I do it across that way, I think that'll work. That may be all I need. Maybe I'll bring this other one out somewhere else. If I do it like this, I can put a flower right there on the end. I'll put one of these. Like right up there. Almost going to use all of these big ones. Guess let me could put some little ones, I guess, in here if you wanted to. The big ones just seem to fit a little bit better. Like right in here, right there. There. Could put this somewhere if you wanted, but I don't know that I need to. You could have it like that, like a zigzag. I think I'm gonna stick it there. Don't know if I'll have any flowers again coming out of it, but maybe just like right there. Didn't get that on there very well. All right, and then my journaling will be right here. So I'm going to call it done. A little bird, and you could do birdie, but I didn't. A little bird told me. All right, there's our patch, kind of like a patch quilt look. What's everybody saying? I missed Cassandra. It is pretty paper. I ordered it when I think they had a special on it. I don't remember if y'all remember that. And somehow I ordered two packages. I don't know how I did that. So I had plenty to work with this week and create kits for my scrap and create kits. So I don't think I'll use this in any way. I don't really see. So I'll save those for another project this week. So we still have lots of goodies for our Wednesday 12 by 12 page and fun fold cards on Friday. But I love that I brought the boho blue in to also kind of create a triangle. So there's your triangle on the boho blue. Our um, Night of Navy, I guess, would be down here and photo here, like kind of like that, because it's a little bit heavier down here. And then our crumb cake here, here, over to here. So that's kind of how visually that helps to draw the eye across the page. All right, so I'm gonna have fun looking for photos to put on this page, and you'll be surprised, I guess, when I post my photos later today on what direction I actually went. And then I'll also share the journaling prompt that I went with as well. So thanks for joining me today. I know it took a little bit longer. Well, not really. This is about how long it's been taking me. Was certainly afraid I was over 2 hours already, so not quite. But I love what I came up with a little bit of stenciling in the background and then using that linked together. So I used the whole bundle. I used this stencil from the collection. There's 5 different stencils in there, and we'll use them throughout the week. But today I just showed how to kind of add to the background. And then with all the dies that are included in this beautiful collection, I love these. I love this lattice piece right here. It is so awesome. So then you've got those, and you can do 4 flowers at once out of there. And then there's that diamond shape, which is a must-have as well to create these cool backgrounds. All right, so y'all have a great week. Hope you will join me on Wednesday for Story and Sketch while I will be creating a 12 by 12 single scrapbook page. We'll be able to do a little bit more technique and maybe bring in some of that wood grain paper. But this is the card. Be sure to check out my Instagram and Facebook. Find this card and you can hop through our Mail It Monday Insta Hop with fellow Stampin' Up 2025 artisans. I already jumped through real quick. I have to go back and leave comments for everyone, but so many pretty projects, and a lot of them use brand new products. I chose to focus on some products I hadn't used yet and that are retiring. So I wanted to throw that in. So you might see a little bit of this in my future projects this week too. That's kind of what inspired it. All right. Take care, everyone. God bless you all. Have a great week.